Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Litflix with Coach Dalton here. This lesson is going to be part 2 of our rhetoric lesson. So if you haven't already listened to part 1, which is from the Nearpod lesson of last week, you're going to want to do that. So this is part 2. So if you haven't already done part 1, pause this, go back to the Nearpod and come here, or else this isn't going to make sense to you, all right? So, just a quick review from that. We have our rhetorical triangle, okay, which is consisting of 3 pieces: ethos, logos, and pathos, right? Ethos is related to the writer or the speaker, logos is related to the message and the content, and sorry, someone knocked at my door. Pathos is related to the audience, okay? Now, if you remember, Aristotle is the one who came up with this, all right, and came up with the 3 rhetorical appeals. Again, ethos is related to the speaker's credibility. That is what you look at. Logos is the logic or the facts contained in the message. And then pathos is appealing to the audience's emotions. So making the audience feel things in order to think things. We already looked at these 3 rhetorical appeals in advertisements. And this week we're going to be talking about speeches, which is going to lead into our second unit. The elements of a rhetorical situation are what we're going to be talking about today. And there are 5 elements of a rhetorical situation that you need to look at in order to analyze the rhetoric. Okay, so by analyzing these 5, you're not analyzing the rhetoric. These are just going to help you break it down. All right, and we're going to look at, I need to go back. So we have the author is piece 1, the purpose, piece 2, the text or the actual message is piece 3, the setting is piece 4, and the audience is piece 5. All right, so this is a speech from Remember the Titans.
Anybody know what this place is?
Think about those 5 elements while we're going through this, and we will break it down.
This is Gettysburg. This is where they fought the Battle of Gettysburg. 50,000 men died right here on this field, fighting the same fight that we're still fighting amongst ourselves today. This green field right here, painted red, bubbling with the blood of young boys, smoke, and hot lead pouring right through their bodies. Listen to their souls, man. I killed my brother with malice in my heart. Hatred destroyed my family. You listen. You take a lesson from the dead. If we don't come together right now on this hollow ground, we too will be destroyed. Just like they were. I don't care if you like each other or not, but you will respect each other. And maybe, I don't know, maybe we'll learn to play this game like men.
All right, so again, these 5 elements of the rhetorical situation will help us break down the actual rhetoric used in a speech. So when we're looking at what you just watched, we first have the speaker or the writer. In this case, it's the team's coach. The purpose of his speech was to encourage his players to get along better in order to play better. His audience was his football team, right? And his message was hate and disrespect has caused, countless losses in history, and it is time for a change. He was trying to get his team to take their small step in change by coming together as different individuals in order to achieve a common goal. All right, in the context, which is AKA the setting, this was a recently integrated Alabama football team. All right. Now, when we look at all 5 of these elements, we can then analyze the coach's ethos, logos, pathos a little deeper, right? So he grew ethos, right, which is credibility by saying, He had ancestors who were a part of the Battle of Gettysburg. Whenever he said the word me or my, we know that it's speaker focus, which is ethos. Logos, he talked about the losses at Gettysburg, right? The numbers, even just taking them to the field and showing them the number of gravestones that would be related to logos. And then pathos might be his strongest appeal he used in this speech. He was trying to pull at their heartstrings, right? He talked about the blood boiling, the hot lead, right? He even said young boys, which they were, okay, young men. And so that is how he was trying to reach them. We're going to look at one more. And while you are watching this speech, go ahead and review or think about these 5 pieces in order to break down this message. So this is Ashton Kutcher. He was receiving an award. It's kind of like a Lifetime Achievement Award for the Teen Choice Awards. And he decided to take his platform, okay, and present a lesson to the teens that were watching. Okay, so while he's talking, think about these 5 things. We won't break it down as much, but I want you to do this on your own while you watch.
Here's to my friend and the Ultimate Choice Award recipient, Ashton Kutcher.
What's up? Oh wow. Okay, let's be brutally honest. This is the old guy award. This is like the grandpa award. And after this, I get to go to like the geriatric home. First of all, I don't have a career without you guys. I don't get to do any of the things that I get to do without you. You know, I thought that I thought that it might be interesting. You know, in Hollywood and in the industry and the stuff we do, there's a lot of like insider secrets to keeping your career going, and a lot of insider secrets to making things tick. And I feel like a fraud. My name is actually not even Ashton. Ashton is my middle name. My first name's Chris. And it always has been. It got changed when I was like 19 and I became an actor. But there were some really amazing things that I learned when I was Chris. And I wanted to share those things with you guys because I think it's helped me be here today. So it's really 3 things. The first thing is about opportunity. The second thing is about being sexy. And the third thing is about living life. So first, opportunity. I believe that opportunity looks a lot like hard work. When I was 13, I had my first job with my dad carrying shingles up to the roof. And then I got a job washing dishes at a restaurant. And then I got a job in a grocery store deli. And then I got a job in a factory sweeping Cheerio dust off the ground. And I've never had a job in my life that I was better than. I was always just lucky to have a job. And every job I had was a stepping stone to my next job. And I never quit my job until I had my next job. And so opportunities look a lot like work. Number 2, being sexy. The sexiest thing in the entire world is being really smart and being thoughtful and being generous. Everything else is crap, I promise you. It's just crap that people try to sell to you to make you feel like less. So don't buy it. Be smart, be thoughtful, and be generous. The third thing is something that I just relearned when I was making this movie about Steve Jobs. And Steve Jobs said, when you grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way that it is, and that your life is to live your life inside the world and try not to get in too much trouble and maybe get an education and get a job and make some money and have a family. But life can be a lot broader than that when you realize one simple thing, and that is that everything around us that we call life was made up by people that are no smarter than you. And you can build your own things. You can build your own life that other people can live in. So build a life. Don't live one, build one. Find your opportunities and always be sexy. I love you guys.
Whoops. All right, so I love that message from Ashton Kutcher. Again, the speaker's Ashton Kutcher, who obviously he has a lot of natural ethos because he is famous. The purpose was he was receiving an award, but he took it upon himself to inspire the teens, the people that were listening, the audience. All right, this is an example of a primary audience and a secondary audience, something that you need to pay attention to and understand if you haven't heard it in the past. His primary audience was those who were there in person, and his secondary audience would be anyone who was watching the recording. So that would be us. His message was to inspire them to be the best they can be, change the world, anything along those lines. And then the setting and the context, that would be the Teen Choice Awards. Among those things, by breaking them down, you can understand how he used ethos, logos, and pathos in order to persuade his audience of something, which he was doing. All right. And that's what speeches do. They are trying to persuade you of something. It doesn't have to be, right or left, good or bad, positive or negative, but there is always a rhetorical message at the bottom or the base of a speech. And we are learning about ethos, logos, and pathos, so you can learn to identify and break those things down. All right. This week, you're going to be analyzing a speech from history. You're going to be looking at the Richard Nixon resignation speech. All right. Thinking about what is it that he was trying to persuade his audience of. All right. And how did he do that? And you will analyze all 5 attributes of the rhetorical situation in order to break down his message. That is all now for Litflix. Y'all have a great week.